if there's something negatively influencing your life, figure out what that is and turn it into positive. And that energy will drive you forward. Yeah, my name is Cem Savas. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Plentific. We are a now London and Berlin-based headquartered property technology business. Launched around 7 years ago and are now, I guess, one of the leading pop tech companies in Europe, and manage a bit over 200,000 properties through a platform that we built, and have expanded into the German market last year and growing to around 60,000 units there now. And we've got big plans to enter the US market next year. So it's actually fairly simple. Every one of us lives in a property. Every one of us had probably issues with property maintenance, tap not working, water leakage, damp issues, kitchens need to be replaced. And each one of us has probably had a bad experience in the past around trying to sort these things out, either directly themselves or through landlords who, you have to call and get them to come with a contractor to figure things out. And in the old world, all of this was predominantly done offline, and it was done through calling a call center, and the call center having to chase, and then you had to chase the call center back, and never knew when the contractor's coming and who's coming and when they're coming, and did they do a good job, did they not do a good job, how do you review them, how do they work, how fast are they supposed. So all these questions that in the old days were done so face-to-face manually, we are basically digitalizing and bringing in the new world into this space. There are many great things and many bad things being a founder of a business. First of all, the great things are you do what you want to do, right? I have bosses still, although I'm a founder. I have investors in the business who ultimately I have to report to and tell them what's going on. But you're following your dream, you're following a passion, you're building a new business from scratch that you're guiding and you're shifting around, and you set the vision and others follow that vision, and you help a bigger team to execute something quite large. It's amazing bringing all sorts of talent together into one place, and seeing that 1 + 1 isn't 2, but it can make something much bigger if you empower the people in the right way. The not so easy things are constant pressure to deliver. I mentioned investors. We have investors who have invested into our business. Clearly, they have expectations of someday getting their money back, and hopefully a lot more than they given us. I wanted to be in some sort of a business environment. I didn't know quite what business meant or how it all works, but I did sort of know that I was quite intrigued in how to make money, how to set up a business, how to be part of a business. And so that's sort of how it all came together. And now I'm sort of, after 10, 11 years in banking, I went back to, in a way, my roots of real estate and property. And, I did a few projects myself. So I brought in my architectural skills and my design skills into it. And now dealing with real estate is something what I was passionate about when I was 16, 17, but I just didn't know how to get to that. So it's been a funny world, definitely. And on the way, I had a number of situations that shaped my future. I had a number of people that, supported me and shaped me. And it could have gone differently as well. The route to go to the US, I was 18. It was all by myself, and, it wasn't planned. My parents didn't plan it. They were quite sort of sad about it or upset that I decided to go. And for me, it was just let's see what happens at that age and take the risk, stand on your own feet and sort of rely on what you know back then. And anything else, you just have to learn as you go. And that made a big change in my life. it doesn't really matter what background you come from. It just makes it sometimes harder to get where you need to go to, because networks help. It does get easier if you already come up from an educated background or have educated parents. Yes, it's easier then. But I have seen as many people being successful as non-successful, depending on what background you came from. It really didn't matter. The important part is that you want to achieve something and you put the dedication behind it, and then you find ways to make that happen, right? So if you don't know, you ask. You ask someone like, in this channel, or find, motivation, or you go and speak to others that you might know how they did it, and you just have to work on it, right? So I have people in my business who, come from mixed backgrounds, come from, different cultural settings, come from different countries. And, when they join my business, they're the same as someone coming from, from an English background, for example. It doesn't matter at all. Yeah, it is an interesting time we live in. Definitely a challenging time for businesses to survive in the current moment. And obviously the governments have put up a lot of resources and processes to support businesses, but it is a difficult period. So to, as a young person, to be able to get into a job, you have to think to yourself, how do I differentiate myself to other applicants? So it doesn't really matter what role you're going for. It could be, a role in engineering and product, and, working for a coffee chain or whatever it is. Your application just needs to stand out, right? So the way you communicate, the way you write your CV and your resume, the way you look on LinkedIn and your profile just needs to look professional. You need to come across as, a trustworthy person. And I think these small differences make a big difference. I'm reviewing probably, 100, 150 CVs a month myself, and my team does around 5,000 a month. And, even the basics of getting the punctuation right on a cover letter, or, having a decent picture on LinkedIn, if you guys already have LinkedIn, and if not, then maybe it's a good idea to start, because it's a professional networking site, right? Those little things make a big difference to employers when they hire. And, when you then are successful in getting a job, keeping the job is also important in the first few months. And that then requires full dedication towards, right? Being on time, presenting yourself properly, speaking in the right way. And then in terms of where and how to find a job, I guess it's all about what are your interests and looking at opportunities that have a future value in it, right? So obviously I come from a technology background now, and there's lots of demand for engineers and product designers, and the whole engineering, the whole technology world is still growing, is still moving forward. Other sectors might be less growing. So when you choose a job, also do a bit of research if those sectors are in demand still in the next 10, 15, 20 years, or if it's a declining market, and you might want to rethink a little bit what you want to do going forward. Good question, and difficult to answer, because I think everyone makes their own decisions, and it's hard to give a standard answer to that. The one thing I think definitely is, when I look back, decisive in how I took my career steps, was first of all, work hard towards what you want to achieve. Because working hard typically pays off, right? You just have to work harder than everyone else, and that's just that my parents have always told me, and that's also what I've seen in my own career, that if you just put that extra effort in and make sure that you develop it a little bit faster than everyone else, and just, if you don't know something, you find out what it is, and, you just don't take no for an answer. That always gave me an edge on just going a bit faster than the competition. I think the main The main points are, I always like to say, if there's something negative, if there's something negatively influencing your life, figure out what that is and turn it into positive. And that energy will drive you forward, right? In your life, in your career, look at people that have that positive energy and where you can learn from and strive in, and the rest will come. It's I haven't met too many people who had that approach and didn't succeed in life, no matter what backgrounds they came from. And I think that is my key message out of this interview. Just keep working hard, just be positive and keep pushing, and find the right people that you can look up to and learn from, and surround yourself with great people.